On January 13, 2010, Japan time, a 7.0 magnitude large-scale earthquake struck the Caribbean nation of the Republic of Haiti. On the instructions and orders of the Minister of Defense, the Self-Defense Forces, or SDF, arrived in Haiti immediately after the major earthquake struck and swiftly began conducting international disaster relief operations. Within a very short time span, just over 2 weeks after receiving the UN's request, the SDF engineer unit was deployed to the peacekeeping operation, or PKO, in Haiti. Approximately 330 SDF personnel, mostly from the GSDF engineer unit, are still working tirelessly in cooperation with foreign troops and others to assist with the rehabilitation efforts. These activities have been highly praised by the international communities.
現在、自衛隊による国際平和協力活動への取り組みには PKO と呼ばれる国連平和維持活動と国際緊急援助活動などがあります。この2つ、実はどちらも世界の平和と安定、そして日本の国益と深い関係があるのです。
PKOs are UN-led peacekeeping operations, which are conducted based on a UN resolution to maintain international peace and stability in response to an international conflict. Meanwhile, international disaster relief operations are the activities of the International Disaster Relief Team, which are dispatched from Japan when major disasters occur overseas, including large-scale natural disasters, to provide medical relief, transport, and other services in response to requests received from the governments of affected countries and other organizations. The International Disaster Relief Team includes rescue teams comprised of officers from the Fire and Disaster Management Agency, the Japan Coast Guard, and the National Police Agency. Medical teams comprised of doctors, nurses, and others. Expert teams comprised of experts from relevant ministries and agencies which provide specialized guidance and advice on disaster recovery. And self-defense force teams which are organized by the Ministry of Defense to carry out transport activities, medical and disease prevention activities, and water supply activities for the affected people. In Haiti, international peace cooperation activities were conducted by PKOs and international disaster relief operations in coordination and were largely successful.
そもそも国際平和協力活動とはどのような考え方でどのような変遷をたどってきたのでしょうか。その背景を見ていくことにしましょう。
PKOs are traditionally deployed to regions where there was conflict, after a ceasefire agreement is reached between the conflicting parties. Based on a resolution adopted by the UN Security Council or General Assembly, peacekeepers act as mediators to monitor the implementation of the ceasefire agreement or the withdrawal of combatants to prevent the recurrence of conflict and support the peaceful settlement of conflicts through dialogue. When the Cold War ended, there was a sharp increase in civil wars and internal conflicts rooted in religious and ethnic differences. Accordingly, the missions of PKOs diversified, as the role of the UN in conflict resolution was reviewed. In addition to the traditional missions mentioned before, PKOs have evolved to include an enlarged mandate covering a full range of activities from election monitoring, dispatch of civilian police, protection of human rights, and refugee assistance, to support for the restoration of proper administration and reconstruction and development.
日本は国際平和協力法、いわゆる PKO 法に基づいて緊急人道支援から復旧復興支援、紛争後の国づくりも含めた広い意味の国際平和協力活動を行っています。今回のハイチにおける自衛隊の国際平和協力活動もその一つです。では、国際平和協力法とはどのような法律なのでしょうか。
The International Peace Cooperation Law, or the so-called PKO law, was established in June 1992. and specifies the framework and procedures by which Japan shall actively contribute to international peace. The PKO law stipulates 5 principles that must be met for Japan to participate in the UN PKO. Specifically, the 5 principles are: a ceasefire agreement exists. The host countries have given their consent to the participation. Impartiality is maintained. Participation may be suspended or terminated if any of the above conditions ceases to be satisfied. And use of weapons shall be limited to the minimum necessary. On the other hand, the law concerning dispatch of international disaster relief teams was established in 1987, and Japan has maintained the arrangement of conducting international disaster relief operations in response to requests received from governments of affected countries and international organizations. In 1992, the law was partially revised to enable the SDF to participate in international disaster relief operations and transport activities for this purpose, including the transport of personnel and equipment. Japan maintains readiness for participating in international disaster relief operations, including relief operations and medical treatment.
国際平和協力活動はどのように位置づけされているのでしょうか。
Based on the notion that the peace and stability of the international community is closely linked to the peace and security of Japan, the Ministry of Defense and the SDF proactively take part in international peace cooperation activities on its own initiative. Proactive engagement in these activities requires preparations, such as education and training, standby postures of assigned units, and improvement of transportation capabilities. And so, in 2007, international peace cooperation activities and activities responding to situations in areas surrounding Japan were stipulated as one of the primary missions of the SDF, alongside the defense of Japan and the maintenance of public order.
今回のハイチ大地震は同じ地域に自衛隊の国際緊急援助隊と国連平和維持活動部隊をほぼ同時期に派遣した初めてのケースでした。実は私も以前自衛官でした。この服を着ると懐かしい感じとともに身の引き締まる思いがします。ではまず自衛隊の国際緊急医療援助隊とハイチ派遣国際救援隊派遣までの経緯を振り返ってみることにしましょう。
A large-scale earthquake struck Haiti on January 13, 2010, Japan time. In response to a request for assistance receiving from the government of Haiti, the government of Japan sent a 6-person survey team to Haiti on the following day of January 14th. The survey team, which included 2 members from the Ministry of Defense and other members of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA, traveled to various locations in order to grasp the situation. On January 15th, the Minister of Defense, in consultation with the Minister for Foreign Affairs, gave instructions to prepare for the transport of an international disaster medical relief team by the C-130H transport aircraft. At the time, a C-130H transport aircraft, which had been in Arizona, USA for training, had completed the training and was preparing to return to Japan. However, in the wake of the large-scale earthquake on January 13th, it was decided that the aircraft would fly to Florida on the 15th and prepare to participate in the international disaster relief operations. On the 17th, the Minister of Defense gave orders to conduct the transport activities. The following day, on the 18th, the C-130H ASDF transport aircraft transported JICA personnel and equipment from the Homestead U.S. Air Force Base in Florida to the international airport in Haiti's capital city of Port-au-Prince. On the return trip, 34 earthquake victims were evacuated from Haiti to the U.S. Between January 18th and February 15th, 19 flights between the U.S. and Haiti were conducted. This transport activity made it possible for the Japan International Disaster Relief Team to arrive in Haiti swiftly and smoothly. In addition, on the 20th, the Minister of Defense issued an order to dispatch an SDF International Disaster Relief Medical Assistance Team to Haiti. Immediately afterwards, a dispatch team of around 100 personnel was organized at Camp Kaitaichi in Hiroshima Prefecture. The GSDF International Disaster Relief Team left Japan on a charter flight from Narita on the 21st and arrived in Haiti by way of Florida, USA, on the C-130H transport aircraft. For the Haiti response, the International Disaster Medical Relief Team was the first to arrive, and their activities were taken over by the SDF Medical Assistance Team 1 week later.
一方、国際社会においても地震発生直後から迅速な対応が取られました。というのも、ハイチでは2000年の選挙をめぐり情勢が悪化し、政治的・社会的混乱が生じたため、2004年よりハイチの治安回復のために国連ハイチ安定化ミッションミヌスタが展開されていたのです。
Therefore, in the aftermath of the earthquake, on January 19th, the United Nations Security Council unanimously adopted Security Council Resolution 1908 to increase the strength of MINUSTA to support the reconstruction and stabilization efforts of Haiti, and requested countries for their cooperation. On January 19th, in response to the UN's request, Japan decided to dispatch an SDF engineer unit and others in accordance with the PKO law on February 5th. The GSDF's first unit, organized primarily from troops of the Central Readiness Force, left for Haiti on February 6th. The next day, Haiti time, the first wave of all 160 or so officers arrived in Haiti. Thus, SDF officers were deployed extremely expeditiously for the Haiti earthquake. After about 1 week of the earthquake for the International Disaster Relief Medical Assistance Team, and 2 weeks of receiving the UN's official request for the SDF International Relief Team.
国連の派遣要請からわずか2週間余りという極めて短期間で派遣できたのはなぜだったのでしょうか。
The prompt dispatch of SDF units was made possible by the continuous efforts of the Ministry of Defense and the SDF. Japan was registered with and was a member of the United Nations Standby Arrangement System, which enables the UN Department of Peacekeeping Operations to request member cooperation in a speedy and smooth manner. The Ministry of Defense and the SDF also established arrangements to maintain close communication and cooperation with related organizations, such as other ministers' agencies and the United Nations. Furthermore, the quickness of the deployment owes to training that used the accumulated know-how and the high motivations and sense of responsibility of the personnel, who are always in a state of readiness. In addition, SDF units are always on standby in case of requests. The GSDF had designated candidates from regional armies in rotation for possible missions assignments, in order to maintain a posture allowing them to respond promptly and continuously to operational requirements. The Central Readiness Regiment under the Central Readiness Force is capable of deploying rapidly and arriving first on the scene when a decision is made to dispatch the SDF to international peace cooperation activities. The GSDF, MSDF, and ASDF are working to improve and enhance their equipment in order to be able to conduct activities under diverse environments, including increasing the engine capacity of the transport helicopter. The International Peace Cooperation Activities Training Unit provides training for personnel who will be deployed to international peace cooperation activities and supports training related to the activities, among other initiatives. Furthermore, the rapid deployment was also an outcome of the flexible operation of the Joint Operations Arrangements, which drew on their accumulated know-how. This was evident, for example, in their response to use the ASDF C-130H transport aircraft being used for training in the US to transport disaster relief teams from the US to Haiti when transport to the country was restricted due to chaos immediately following the earthquake. In addition, the Japan-US cooperation and support arrangements based on their alliance played a big factor, enabling Japan to obtain information from US forces, utilize US bases, and more.
ハイチで展開した自衛隊の国際平和協力活動、それはどのような活動だったのでしょうか。ここではまずハイチにおける国際緊急医療援助隊の医療援助の活動を具体的に見ていくことにします。
On January 23rd, the SDF Medical Assistance Team set up a field hospital at the Haiti Episcopal School of Nursing in Leogane City, about 40 kilometers west of the capital city of Port-au-Prince, and began providing medical relief activities. There, the International Disaster Medical Relief Team, which had arrived earlier, passed on a variety of information to the SDF Medical Assistance Team, including ways of responding to patient needs, and the SDF team started providing medical service activities on a full scale from January 25th. The SDF Medical Assistance Team, comprised of 104 personnel including 13 doctors, provided emergency medical treatment to residents who suffered injuries from falling objects and other causes due to the earthquake, and to residents who contracted infectious diseases due to the worsening sanitation environment. The SDF Medical Assistance Team examined a total of 2,954 patients until the medical relief activities were completed on February 13th. Upon the completion of SDF's medical relief activities, its location was handed over to the Japanese Red Cross medical team. As a result, seamless medical services were provided by Japan. In addition, these activities were implemented effectively in coordination with foreign troops and civic groups, including the Canadian Forces, the US Forces, and NGOs which had been engaged in activities nearby. Lastly, I would like to ask Colonel Makoto Shirakawa, who headed the SDF International Disaster Relief Medical Assistance Team in Haiti, for his comments.
初診の患者というか、腕が折れたお子さんですとか、それから頭からもう血が流れてる、何も治療されてないというような患者さんが来ましたので、そういう方々に対する医療というか、そういうのは非常に遅々として進まないというか、そういうところが当初は非常にございました。その地域に入ったのも日本が初めてでございましたので、そういう観点では非常に感謝されるような活動ができたんじゃないかというふうに思ってます。で、我々が実際活動して、他の軍隊に負けないなというのは、日本人の細やかさと申しますか、相手の目線に立ったというか、非常に親身な活動というか、真心というか、そういうのを持った活動というのは、そこら日本人の特性からくる非常に有意義な活動ができたんじゃないかなとは思っておりました。日本の国旗をそれぞれつけ、それで活動できたということはやっぱりある面誇りを持って我々も活動できましたし、また日本からの声援等もたくさんいただきましたので、その後押しがあってハイチの被災者の方々のためにも、それから国内の方にとっても役に立てたかなというのは非常に有意義だったと思います。はい、
では自衛隊のハイチ派遣国際救援隊はどのような活動を行ったんでしょうか。ハイチにおける自衛隊施設部隊の活動を具体的に見ていきましょう。
The GSDF engineer unit was equipped with a variety of vehicles, including heavy equipment, such as bulldozers, hydraulic shovels, and truck cranes, to remove the large amount of rubble from the earthquake, level the land for the construction of camps for earthquake victims, and conduct other recovery and reconstruction activities in Haiti. On February 16th, local time, the engineer unit's activities began with the task of leveling the land to construct a warehouse for the food distributors of the United Nations World Food Program, or WFP. From February 22nd, over the next 4 weeks, the SDF engineer unit worked on removing the rubble at the Nader Art Museum, which collapsed from the earthquake. At the request of the Art Museum, this activity was conducted in coordination with an Italian rescue team. The SDF removed the rubble using its heavy machinery. The Italian team uncovered the cultural property by hand. This role sharing contributed to the smooth conduct of the activity. A letter addressed to Japan's SDF and the special representative of the UN Secretary-General was received from the Natter Art Museum, which expressed its appreciation for removing the rubble from the gallery. On March 19th, the first unit of the SDF Engineer Unit was replaced with the second unit. In order to determine whether the buildings damaged by the earthquake can continue to be used, 3 engineer officials, including architects with first-class certification, were deployed at the request of the UN. Between March 11th and April 9th, the team conducted a study of 40 buildings, including UN facilities. Japan was the only country which was able to respond to this request, and the activities were highly commended by the UN. This is the Ministry of Finance and Economy branch office which collapsed from the earthquake. During the rubble removal that was conducted from March 24th to April 12th, one SDF officer had a friendly talk with a Haitian child whom he met there. A family who saw this was struck by the officer's sincerity, and noticing that the SDF's work was almost over, sent a letter of appreciation with a photo of the family enclosed as memorabilia. From March 29th for 2 months, the SDF conducted repair work of the main road which connects the Haitian capital with the capital of the Dominican Republic. Nearby is a lake. During the rainy season, the lake constantly floods, and moreover, the alternate route is still unfinished. Thus, the main road is extremely important for maintaining the distribution channels of Haiti, which has a weak domestic production base. On May 29th, the repair work of the road on the border of the Dominican Republic, which lasted for 2 months, was completed, and the completion ceremony was held. After the ribbon cutting, representatives on behalf of the local community expressed their appreciation to Japan's SDF colonel, and the national anthems of Haiti and Japan were played by a Bolivian band. The road is used to transport necessary materials by MINUSTA, and therefore Japan also contributed significantly to MINUSTA's smooth implementation of activities. For the repair work, Special Representative of the UN Secretary-General and Head of Mission, MINUSTA, Moulay, Deputy Special Representative of the Secretary-General, members of the Government of Haiti, representatives of the community members, and others have expressed gratitude and are praising the work of the SDF unit. Based on the proposal of the Japanese and ROK Chiefs of Staff to conduct joint activities, between June 8th and July 1st, the Japanese and ROK units worked together in the Carrefour region, which was at the halfway point between their respective camps, to dismantle a collapsed school building and remove the rubble. In addition, between July 8th and 31st, the Japanese and ROK units worked together to dismantle a collapsed Signo-Tuberculosis sanitarium and remove the rubble. The work was shared, with Japan providing the dump truck and the ROK providing the hydraulic shovel. During this period, the Japanese and ROK units visited each other's camps and conducted other exchanges and further deepened the mutual understanding between Japan and the ROK. On August 9th, an SDF medal parade took place. A medal parade is a ceremony for the local commanders to award SDF officers who were engaged in PKO activities with a UN Medal of Honor. Participating in the medal parade is a mark of pride for SDF personnel who participate in PKOs, and the event very much raises the morale of SDF personnel. On August 18th, the first wave of the 3rd unit arrived in Haiti. On the 28th, the 2nd unit was replaced with the 3rd unit. With the changeover of personnel, the KC-767 tanker and transport aircraft was used to airlift equipment and other materials. This was the aircraft's first flight mission outside of Japan. In mid-October, an outbreak of cholera was confirmed in Haiti, and many people became infected. To tackle the epidemic spread of cholera, the SDF conducted water supply activities to provide safe water on October 23rd, in response to an urgent request from MINUSTA's headquarters. Prevent the infection of SDF units, preventive measures such as decontaminating vehicles which return from infected regions continue to be taken. At the Malpase orphanage, where the SDF had leveled the land, the SDF unit constructed a children's dorm and a warehouse. The UN's Quick Impact Projects, or QIPs, were used to procure the materials. Quick Impact Projects are small-scale, rapidly implementable activities paid for by the UN, and are believed to facilitate PKO activities and lead to the improvement of the PKO's image. These activities are supported by the SDF camp and behind-the-scenes work. First, with respect to the SDF camp, an inauguration ceremony was held on August 7th to commemorate the establishment of a container house at the campsite. With the installation of air conditioners and other equipment, the living environment was improved. While the camp initially consisted only of tents, a container house was available from the second unit and beyond. Next, with respect to behind-the-scenes work, these are the cooking staff who are in charge of the kitchen. While initially the first unit ate retort-packed foods for all three of their meals, currently personnel prepare the food and an extensive menu is available. In addition, the supply service staff and facility staff are indispensable to behind-the-scenes work. When the SDF first arrived in Haiti, officers could not bathe, and the bathtub they had was a container made of scrap wood with a rubber sheet on the bottom. Now, officers have the equipment to boil the water and soak outside. Furthermore, cultural exchanges with the local people were conducted extensively. Popular events included a Shorinji Kempo exhibition, a calligraphy workshop, and a martial arts workshop. For the officers and the enlisted who are engaged in activities in Haiti, it is their family which brings them emotional support. Conversations over the video phone or satellite phone, as well as comfort items from their families, bring a smile to their faces. Lastly, I spoke with Colonel Masaharu Yamamoto, the commander of the 1st SDF International Relief Team.
我々の任務としては2つありまして、1つはまず自分たちのその活動基盤を作るということと、合わせまして現地の復興支援活動をやると。現地我々行った頃だいたい40度ぐらい気温がありまして、だいたい湿度はもう 80% 以上なので、そういった中でやっぱり現地は結構マラリアとかですね、いろんな風土病もあって、最初に行った1週間はもう風呂もなし、シャワーもなし、いわゆるそのもう汗だらだらこうなった中が泥だらけになってですね、地べたにほとんど寝転んでやってましたので、だいたいアリンコとかでこう食われてですね、体中も湿疹だらけになって、そういう状況でやってました。隊員に出国前に言ったのは、まずいつ帰ってくれるかわからないということを認識をしろと。で家族にも隊員の家族にも出国前には覚悟してくださいと。もう私の仕事は全員無事に連れて帰ってくることが一番の仕事ですが、それでも何か起こるかわからないので、それはもう中央ソコレンタル隊員は常々言ってることですし、それは中央ソコレンタル隊員の家族にも常々言ってることなので、それは本当家族の方にも特に違和感なくですね受け入れられたんですけれども、そういった中でやっぱりその日本隊というのは、一つ一つ非常にその国連の司令部からはもう絶賛をされました。これは本当にハイチに限らず、例えばイラクでもそうですし、カンボジア、東ティモール、いろんな PK をやってきた中でもう世界の中でも結構かなりやっぱ日本隊のその仕事ぶりというのは有名になってますし、逆に我々がハイチ行った時に日本隊がいかに素晴らしい仕事をしてきたかということを我々自身がハイチに行って知らされたというのが本当逆に実態なので、むしろ我々はそういったことを知らされることによってやっぱハイチでやっぱり日本人としてまたはその日本の自衛隊の代表としてやっぱり頑張ろうよというようなやっぱり気概を持たされたというような状況ではありました。
In November of 2010, the government of Japan, in accordance with the International Peace Cooperation Law, decided to extend the deployment period for the SDF engaged in relief activities by approximately 1 year and 2 months until January 31st, 2012. Today, the SDF continue to conduct activities in Haiti.
自衛隊が現在活動している国際平和協力業務はこのほかさまざまな国や地域でも行っています。ご紹介しましょう。
The United Nations Disengagement Observer Force, or UNDOF, monitors the ceasefire between Syria and Israel and the implementation of measures stipulated under an agreement between the countries over the separation of their opposing troops in the Golan Heights. A transport unit of 43 SDF personnel has been dispatched to UNDOF, as well as 3 GSDF officers to the UNDOF headquarters, to provide transport and other logistical support operations. The SDF have been participating in UNDOF activities for about 15 years since February 1996, during which approximately a total of 1,300 SDF personnel have been dispatched. As of January 2011, 46 personnel in the 30th team dispatched to UNDOF, including the 15th team of headquarters staff officers, are engaged in assistance activities. The United Nations Integrated Mission in Timor-Leste, or UNMIT, provides election support and assists in maintaining and restoring order and security for building a democratic society in East Timor, among other things. 2 GSDF officers were dispatched to UNMIT in September 2010 to act as military liaison officers for collecting information on the security situation and other information. The United Nations mission in Sudan, or UNMISS, performs ceasefire surveillance, provides election support, and coordinates humanitarian assistance in Sudan. 2 GSDF officers have been dispatched to the UNMISS headquarters since October 2008, with the responsibility to undertake logistical coordination and database management. As of January 2011, 2 officers of the 5th Detachment since November 2010 are working at the headquarters. The United Nations mission in Nepal, or UNMIN, has a mandate which includes monitoring the management of arms and armed personnel of the Nepal Army and the Maoist Army as ex-rebel forces during Nepal's post-Civil War transition. 6 GSDF officers have been dispatched to UNMIN since 2007 as military observers to monitor the management of arms and armed personnel. In January 2011, pursuant to the decision that UNMIN will leave Nepal, the 4th team of military observers returned to Japan, ending SDF's participation in international peace cooperation activities in Nepal. Furthermore, international disaster relief operations activities to date include active participation in the relief efforts and medical service activities for numerous disasters, including the large-scale flooding damage in Pakistan which occurred in July 2010, the major earthquake off the coast of Sumatra in Indonesia, tsunami damage in the Indian Ocean, large-scale earthquakes in Pakistan, earthquake damage in central Java in Indonesia, and the earthquake disaster off the coast of Padang, West Sumatra in Indonesia.
いかがだったでしょうか。自衛隊の国際平和協力活動は今世界で高く評価されています。そこには自衛隊員の規律正しく統制の取れた質の高い活動があります。それが日本に対する信頼感となって世界における日本の地位を高めてくれるのです。今後も防衛省自衛隊は国際平和協力活動に積極的に参加し、国際社会の平和と安定に貢献ができるよう頑張ります。
Conflicts and large-scale disasters strike various countries and regions of the world. In order to improve the international security environment, the international peace cooperation activities carried out in concert by the international community are increasing in importance even further. Proactive engagement in international peace cooperation activities by the SDF contributes to the peace and security of the international community, including Japan. At the same time, working together with international organizations such as the UN and foreign troops offers the SDF an opportunity to demonstrate their capability, which will in turn lead to the improvement of trust towards Japan. Going forward, the Ministry of Defense and the SDF will continue to actively engage in international peace cooperation activities.